Before starting with this theory, I would like to thank you for making part of my dream come true by reaching the number of 1000 subscribers. I am really grateful and I hope to continue bringing content that we can enjoy. But without further ado, let's go to the main objective of this video and the reason why you came. What could be the level of Miguel Diaz in the 6th season of Cobra Kai? Throughout the series, we have witnessed how a fighter evolves and increasingly improves his techniques, speed, strength, and among other attributes that are necessary to be stronger, since strength is not only physical, but is a set of characteristics that make a person have a level according to their abilities in general. If we use Hack as an example to be able to know the way in which the advance of his powers is represented with each season, we can see that over time the kicks and blows that Hack uses evolve a little by a little, from being attacks that do not pass from feet on the ground to flying and kicking in the air looking like a professional fighter. Our second best example is also Robbie Keane, who regardless of being in juvie was able to keep leveling up and never really stopped improving despite his lack of training in Season 3. Now with Miguel, things will seem pretty much the same, but it really isn't as easy as it seems. Let's go back to Season 1. Miguel was the first of the teenagers, without counting Sam, who learned karate and became the champion of the All Valley with a few months of training, but there is a small detail that not everyone knows. When Johnny decides to train Miguel in the first chapter, we know from the series that this was done at the end of the summer of 2017 or else from the middle, because Daniel and Amanda confirm it in the second chapter when they are in the beach club, and also Miguel comes to tell Johnny that classes will begin soon. This happens when Miguel asks to Johnny to train him for the first time. Now, Miguel's training in Season 1 lasted longer than you think, because it was not only 2 or 3 months, it was almost a year. After Miguel is brutally beaten by Kyler, he returns to train with Johnny with the best montage of the series in my opinion. And during this time we can see Christmas decoration, referencing they were in December, very close to the end of the month. Only with this, we can know as a reference that Miguel since August has been training 5 months, and he returns to school in January, so that's 6 months, and at that point, Hawk and Robbie start training too. So Miguel was 6 months ahead of Robbie, who is better than Miguel in Season 1, and I already made a video explaining why. With all this information, we arrive at the All Valley of 2018, in which were Miguel, Hawk and Robbie, relatively even, but without hesitation I tell you that Robbie was already better than Miguel in the All Valley. If these two had met in a street fight, then Miguel could win, but in terms of a tournament fight, Robbie had a lot of advantage, because we have already seen with Daniel and Sam Wars in Season 2 that defense wins tournaments, and that's just why Hawk beat Robbie in Season 4, not only because he was using Cobra Kai, but because he complemented it with Miyagi-Do's defense. Now, the All Valley was held in May, so by then Miguel had been training for almost 10 months and Robbie only 4 months. Now imagine what would have happened if Robbie had started his training on par with Miguel. Probably, Robbie will make Miguel look like a rookie, because in Miyagi-Do, training a year is a great sum of power, as we can see it with Daniel in Karate Kid 3, who by concentrating could beat Mike Barnes, a rival with much more experience than Daniel. With all this data, we could think then that the progress of Miguel Diaz is lower than Hawk and Robbie's, right? Well, what happens if I say no? During Season 4, Miguel was training constantly, and in my opinion this season is possibly when Miguel trains more than ever. The reason and why I say it is that he went from defeating Kyler with a little difficulty in Season 3 to being able to execute the tornado kick and being able to dominate Hawk when he was using Miyagi-Do. Also in the eyes of Kenny, he said in Season 5 that Miguel would have beaten Hawk and Robbie if he had not been injured and abandoned the fight. So we can conclude that in one season, Miguel went from defeating Kyler with difficulty to be equal or above Robbie and Hawk. And all the time that covers season 4 are just 5 months from January to the Old Valley, so Miguel had more progress than even Robbie, who learned Cobra Kai, and Hawk, who did not stop training to that point and had learned Miyagi-Do. Things only improved for Miguel in season 5, as it is notable how he defeated Robbie without ending up as injured as in his fight at school. So the difference that Miguel had over Robbie was greater than in season 2, so we can assume that by this point Miguel was already stronger than his version of season 4 when only 1 month had passed because they were in vacation. So in less than 2 months, Miguel had already overcome again. In the final fight of the Cobra Kai dojo, at the end of the whole match, we can see Sam, Robbie, Hawk, Anthony and Kenny with samples of blows. But unlike the others, Miguel was intact, even recognizing that he has had worse fights in which he has been hurt. And I am not saying that nobody managed to hurt Miguel during the final fight, but if you ask me how many Cobra Kai randoms managed to land a kick on Miguel, I would just say 1 or 2. The level that Miguel could reach in season 6, in my opinion, can be based on Johnny's from the first season. Already seeing the progress that Miguel has had, if we put it as a graph, is exponential, so we should not be surprised that unless the plot requires it, Miguel is simply unstoppable. Not only do I think he's going to be the best of the dojo, but I even think that Miguel might be able to beat all the teenagers one by one without them passing a medium difficulty. But I really don't think he can beat John Chris or Kim Dae-un, because these senseis, although they are physically surpassed by Miguel, they surpass him in techniques, combat experience, and intelligence when it comes to fighting. But what I do tell you is that with certainty, Miguel will be unstoppable. But there will be someone who could be at his level, and that someone is Kenny. Okay, I'm kidding. Kenny will love you. The character that could be at his level could actually be Robbie, because if the right and necessary factors align in the season 6, the prodigy son of Sensei Lawrence could have a very good chance of being even better than Miguel. But that's a topic I will explain in another video. In conclusion, Miguel is a very bold and unpredictable fighter in terms of his power, because they could really nerf him as it happened in season 3. But this show has 3 incredible writers and will not take the resource of nerfing the same character 2 times in the same situation. So there is an 80% probability, in my opinion, that Miguel is going to be the most powerful character on season 6. For my part, this will be all. I invite you to leave your like if the video interested you, and if you don't think I'm right, I don't care. Nah, don't worry. Here all the opinions are respected except for those who think Miguel from season 1 beats Kenny from season 5. May God bless you. Peace.